Hey everyone, we're back for our YouTube channel, Wanderlust Bunch. So we're headed to Wekiwa Springs State Park. We're staying the weekend, so had a few things to do here in the outskirts of Orlando area. So this is our second YouTube video. This is actually our sixth or seventh state park this summer, and within ones that have had swimming, this is our third spring that we'd be going to this summer. So we're a couple minutes away from the entrance, so we're going to go get checked in here, and we will show you guys the setup process, and we're going to get to having some fun. Thank you, sir. I guess this is where the swimming area is.
You put Pokemon, like right here, or Metagroves, not park or anything.
Good tonight. They could probably jump up there and get really their screen.
So we just entered the campground, and they told us that there are bears here in the park, so that should be pretty interesting. So they said there's no incident of getting into campers, but tents and stuff. So we'll see what this is like. That'd be kind of interesting to see a bear. Set up at our site. Pretty nice campground so far. Sites are really nice. They're really good shape. So we're just cruising on down to the spring area just to go check out if there's a store. We do get stickers of every place we go to. So only downfall, no full hookups here, which is not that big of a deal. We have an outdoor shower, so we've got a pretty awesome outdoor shower enclosure that'll work out well. So we're gonna go cruise down here, and we'll show you what we find. All right, walking down to Wekiwa Springs, there were so many people there, and it was so noisy that I figured doing a voiceover after the fact would be a lot easier. So we were walking down to basically the spring. The parking area had a couple of different ramps going down into a big field open area, and then there were stairs and a path over to the side. So there were lots of entrances to get down to the spring, which was very convenient. Like I said, there were a lot of people. There were people really everywhere. They were setting up, just kind of getting ready for the day, because it's been really hot lately here in Florida. So I know there's a lot of people looking for an option to cool off. So walking down the path that we were actually on, there were a couple of things that you could see, and there was actually a gift shop. So this is when we actually got into the water. We found a nice spot that was right near the water. We were able to hop right in. It was fairly shallow around the whole thing, maybe 4 to 5 feet around all the areas that we went to. So it was pretty convenient as far as getting in, getting out. There were a lot of people that were on the stairs that made it kind of difficult to get back out, because they just stood on the stairs. So, but like I said, it was a lot of people there. Everyone was trying to cool off. It was Florida. It was probably 96 degrees. Probably felt like a little over 100. So, but the spring water was perfect. It was very nice. And behind us, actually, there was a kayak paddleboard rental and kind of launch. So you could take your own kayak or paddleboard, or you could rent one. Pretty affordable from what I saw. We didn't necessarily want to do that just because we had the baby, and we didn't think that'd be the great thing to do. So pretty open area. They had said that there was a limit on what kind of flotation devices you could bring, but it looked like a lot of people had pool noodles, floats, all sorts of various things. So our boys aren't very strong swimmers, so we always make sure that they're comfortable in there. So they like having the life vest, and they like using their scuba gear or snorkeling gear, goggles and things like that. So we just took various clips, just kind of walking around the area. The bottom was pretty sandy. There was some different moss on the ground, algae on like rocks, and they swear that there was a tree under there that I was standing on. I'm pretty positive it was a rock, but we were just walking around. There was actually a bridge there. It was pretty much the same depth all around, so you could see I'm almost 6 foot, so it wasn't that bad. Pretty convenient to get around, so it was pretty enjoyable. Just a lot of people, a lot of noise, so that made it a little bit less enjoyable. But really our only feedback as far as the spring was concerned was it would have been nice to have a park ranger there, just making sure that people were not doing any major things. The second day we went, there were people jumping off the bridge, which, if you're going to go break the rules, that's on you. But they were jumping near our kids. They were splashing the baby. It was making everyone upset. So we just went ahead and left. It just made it a lot easier. We didn't take footage of the second day that we were there. So we just were walking around. Really just did this to cool off. We knew that we wouldn't be there for long, but it was served the purpose of just cooling off and then going back to the camper. So crystal clear water, nice and clear. Wish everyone would take care of the area. So if you are not familiar with leave no trace principles, I definitely suggest you look it up, because really we want these areas to be nice and be kept in good condition for years and years to come, so our kids can enjoy these natural resources just like we do. So you can just see some of the crystal clear water. You can see what the bottom looks like there. Pretty nice, pretty convenient to get around.
You microwave them. Daddy, would you like a hot dog? Grandma, would you like a hot dog?
I did remember.
Same chair.
I gotta call Grandpa back and make sure he knows. It's like, oh no, there's a little fire pit or something. So yeah, the no I haven't was weird.
All right, so this concludes our trip to Wekiwa. I hope I'm saying that right. Wekiwa Springs. Probably one of the better state parks. Aside from the swimming area, wasn't our favorite, but we did it. So we're just getting packed up, getting the rig all done. So, but the camping area all around is probably one of the nicer areas that we've been to. There's very little bugs. They've got fire rings around each of the sites. So we sat out here last night and had a fire, and it was pretty awesome. So there's plenty of trees. We put up hammocks, made sure that they weren't destroying any of the trees or anything. So it was a lot of fun. So definitely highly recommend. I think we'll definitely be back. Maybe not so much for the spring area, but for the campground, probably one of the nicer ones we've been to. So we're gonna go ahead and get loaded up. And since we're so close to Mount Dora, we're gonna head over to Mount Dora. So we'll get a little bit of footage of that. But thank you for joining us. Make sure to remember, like, subscribe, and share as we grow our channel, show you what weekend travels we're doing. See ya.
One Flight Up Cafe.
Hi, Jessica. What are we doing?
We're gonna go walk around Mount Dora and listen to the walking sign.
That's the walking sign. Doing that.
Look, that's nice and peaceful. We need to make fun. Oh, look at
Look, it's candy. Oh, I think this is where I actually had the directions going. Was this place?
Oh,
Yeah.
ice cream. Oh, yeah, ice cream.
All right, guys. So, Jessica and I are sitting here. We're just gonna go over what we thought about Wekiwa Springs. I hope I'm saying that right. If I'm not, then make sure to tell me down in the comments below. But we spent 3 days at Wekiwa. Various things that we thought were great about it, things that were not so great. So when we pulled up, the parking lot was closed because they'd reached their daily limit. So we went in, got set up. The campground, they just did a prescribed burn there, so it was a little bit desolate at the time, but really you could see pretty far, and it wasn't a lot of overgrowth. So you could see all through the woods, which was a plus. Now talking about the spring. So the spring, it was cool, but there are a lot of people there. So definitely a lot of people. Didn't really like that so much, but it was okay. Like, people are there. Like, the kids were saying, well, why is that person there? Why is that person there? Well, they probably don't have a lot of access to swimming pools in that area. There's no beaches in Apopka, so that was probably the only option. So the water was nice. There's a lot of people there. It wasn't bad. It was really disheartening to see how many people were littering and leaving a lot of their trash, because people brought in all kinds of stuff. They were grilling. They were bringing in like huge amounts of food. People are smoking. So that was a little bit disheartening, at least what I thought. What did you think?
I thought the same thing. It was very frustrating to see a lot of people just kind of disregarding any type of rules. The second time we went out there was this really small bridge, and a couple of these young adults kept jumping over the bridge, and it was really close to where the children were swimming. And obviously you shouldn't jump, over the bridge at all. So there was a lack of any type of, lifeguard or a ranger walking around just making sure that people are not doing stupid stuff.
Well, it says no lifeguard, so that there's a warning there. But I think if there was a ranger walking around, just to kind of go after the big things, because there's a sign right on the end of the bridge saying no jumping, right where the person's jumping, and they're not just jumping, like near themselves. They were jumping where it was splashing our kids. And we have the little baby here, so we didn't really want to stick around for that, just because it was the boys were wanting to do it at that point. The older boys, they're trying to understand. Well, if there's a rule, why are they doing that? So, not really a big fan of that. The water was clear. Water was great. It was nice and cool. The ground wasn't bad. I didn't mind walking, on the ground in there.
The major difference between Rainbow Springs, because the head spring was very much the same. People were kind of popping up their canopies, grilling, camping out for the day. However, with that springs, you can only have a pool noodle. At Wekiwa Springs, everyone was bringing their ginormous inflatable tubes, their 4-person, inflatable
There
tube
was one person
hangout.
that came with a 5-person inflatable ring, and it was big. I mean, it was probably, if I had to guess, I'd say it was probably 9 or 10 feet, maybe more. It might have been closer to 10 or 11 feet, in diameter. So that's a huge amount of space being occupied, and if they float right over the major areas where people want to go and check out, people setting up grills and stuff, that I think that's going to happen. Like, there's nothing that says they can't do that. I think it's kind of cool, but don't leave your trash after you're done. That wasn't very cool to see. People leaving their garbage after grilling out. So yeah, that's kind of what we thought. Now the campground, switching gears. Now we'll go over the campground, and we didn't actually make it over the playground. So there weren't that many areas to Wekiwa. There was basically the swim area. At the end of the swim area, there was a playground. There was a small, almost museum-like, outdoor museum-like exhibit setup. We walked by those. But then there's the campground, and then further out at the end of the property, then there was a lake. And all those areas, they looked really nice. The campground, we thought the campground was great. City of Apopka, like, you've got it going on with the bugs. Like, they were under control quite a bit. Mm-hmm. So definitely one of the better campgrounds that we've been to with bugs being under control. I don't think it was till Saturday night that we started seeing some bugs, but it wasn't even terrible. Like, we've been to some places, and if you guys have ever gone and visited state parks amongst Florida, a lot of the areas are swampy, so there's normally a lot of bugs that'll really carry you away. So this wasn't like that at all. You could hang outside all hours of the day, even after the sun went down. They weren't that bad. It wasn't out of control. Maybe you'd see one or two, in maybe a 30-minute period. So that was great. We really liked it.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to add?
I mean, it was sort of pretty to look at, but Florida is Florida, and the drive over there was nice, but...
The drive over there?
Yeah, the palmetto bushes are just...
Oh, that was cool. Yeah, that was cool. So, going over we went, because I had a job beforehand, so we went kind of a little bit further north, went into Tavares, and then came in that way. So it was a nice drive in. It was cool to see. Pretty enjoyable experience. I definitely highly recommend the campground. It was nice and clean. It was organized. The bathrooms are clean. The campground was clean. There's lots of pine trees, so that's something are not necessarily as frequented in Florida. Certain parts it's a lot of palmetto bushes, so that was pretty nice to see. We'll be sharing lots of pictures and different video that we got. You should have already seen those in the video, but make sure to follow us on. We've got Instagram and TikTok, so we're going to be posting more of that. And our next videos, we've got a few videos going on. We've got the tour of our rig, our camper. We're inside it now, so we've got the tour video coming up, and we've got 2 more trips. One of them is in the Keys, and that is a really, really popular state park that we're going to be going to. So we're going to be doing a video on that, so make sure, stay tuned, hit the bell button so you know when we've got a new video coming out, and make sure to follow what we got going on. Anything else?
Nope, that's good.
All right, cool. Well, we'll see you guys in the next video.